Hey, I wanted to get this Netlify site deployed via Dagger and Jenkins. So I started out here by firing up a cloak server and playing around with the API. And I saw some things I had available to me over here. For example, I was able to use the core API and pull a Git repo and then do a yarn build on it. So this is the actual repo with the to-do app. And so when I've done that, I now have a file system ID that is that built file system. Awesome. And now I need a secret token to do a deployment. I'm actually not going to show you my token, but I added it in here to Cloak, and I got this secret ID out. And then I set up a deploy. So similarly, if I look over here, I'm using Netlify extension, and it's got a deploy, and I've set a few things here, including the contents. I'll show you this down below. That's actually that big long giant string that you saw before of the contents, and I also stuck my secret ID there as well. And so now with that going, I can hit play, and this all works really well. In fact, there's something going on with this logs URL, which isn't showing up quite right. I'm going to go ahead and just remove that for a second and rerun it. And you can see you can really tailor the output to whatever you want. Cool. So I took this and I moved it into a bash script. So let's go over here. Let's go into my deploy.sh. So I took each of those queries and essentially just add them in a bash script. And I'm calling each of them individually. So I'm calling cloak on the command line, and I'm storing the output in an environment variable here. And then in some cases, I'm then taking that variable and then just extracting out from that JSON exactly the bit I want. In this case, the file system ID that I stored in contents. And then when I actually went to do the deploy, I didn't add secret like I did before, where I had a server running. Because these are individual calls to the cloak binary, I actually am injecting the secret here, and I'm injecting the contents here, and then these actually get filled in right here. Cool. And then I think the way I'm doing it right now, I could be filtering down for just one piece of data I want, but in this case, I'm just going to have all the JSON come back out. Cool, so let's take a look and see what that looks like. I'm going to make sure to pass my token in, and that actually gets used during this deployment, and you can see I've got a URL right here. Cool, so if you're wondering where that kind of came from, let's just take one look back again, and you can see down here this site name is where that funny looking URL got its start. So then, now that I've got this deploy.sh, I can run it locally, but I could also run it in CI. And of course, I'm using Bash, but you could develop this kind of a script in whatever language, whether JavaScript, TypeScript, Golang, Python, whatever. I just happen to like Bash, and it's really easy to use with Jenkins. So in my Jenkins file, I've actually stored that Netlify token in the internal credential store of Jenkins, and there's an environment variable called token here, and then I just, in a shell command, I just run deploy.sh. And if we take a look here one more time to kind of highlight how that token gets handled, I kind of glossed over it, but it would be pulled in right there from that environment variable. Cool, so now let's go see it over in Jenkins. So in Jenkins itself, I'm going to go to this cloak pipeline and build now. So I'm going to go into job 58 here and look at the console output. So we're actually pulling from that repo. That code I was showing you locally is all in a GitHub repo. And we're now running this pipeline, making heavy use of caching. Things are going really fast, and I'm actually able to get this output right here. If I take a peek, boom, there's the app that I was trying to deploy. Really easy to figure things out interactively, create a script in whatever language. Mine was Bash, test it locally, and then throw it into CI. Thanks for watching.